We are at Boqueria Market. I promise you, you've probably seen a bunch of these videos, but I am going to give you a step-by-step on exactly.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the studio. So before we jump into Doom the Dark Ages and stuff, there is something I wanted to go over. Hold on. And that is that for all my wrestling fans out there, that's, who tunes into my stream and enjoys pro wrestling and all that kind of stuff, y'all know that this past couple of days, on the 11th of Mother's Day, we lost a legend. As you can see, we lost Sabu. Terry Brunick, but I can't really say his last name, I'm sorry. But Sabu. And I wanted to pay my respects to Sabu because of the fact that him, RVD, Sandman, anybody that was on ECW got me into what we call hardcore wrestling. I know hardcore wrestling is really frowned upon when it comes down to, certain people in the industry. Like, what's his name? Jim Cornette, that's who I'm thinking of. Jim Cornette, he don't like it. He calls it carny nonsense and all that kind of stuff. But Jim Cornette is just one of them old dudes that just be screaming at the clouds and stuff. But Sabu, when I tell you, Sabu was out here doing some wild stuff in wrestling. Like Sabu, he was one of them dudes in wrestling who would sit up and get a table, light it on fire, throw some tacks on there, thumbtacks by the way, and maybe some glass, and he'll put himself through it instead of putting somebody else through it. Usually the wrestler that sets the table are usually the ones going through the table. Come on now, that's wrestling logic. I've been watching wrestling since I was a wee little lad. So, but Sabu was one of those guys that really got me into hardcore wrestling. Like, that's why I'm a huge fan of AEW, because AEW, you want some hardcore wrestling, they gonna have some hardcore wrestling. So, but he just passed away this past Sunday, and I'm not going to get into the drama. I'm not going to get into the drama, because there's drama behind what's going on with Sabu, and it's just, let's not talk about that right now. I leave that for the big YouTubers that like to talk about this kind of drama and stuff. Y'all know me, I don't do drama. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to pay my respects to him, because, like I said, he got me into it. He got me into more hardcore wrestling than just your normal wrestling, So, by all means, hold on, let's see if we got any photos of some of the wild stuff he did. One of his rivals, Taz, paid respects, which was heartfelt. I felt that in my soul. Let me see if I can find some. His match with Rey Mysterio at One Night Stand was amazing. Rey Mysterio was also part of ECW as well, but Rey Mysterio got me into the luchadors and all that stuff, like mucha lucha type stuff. But I'm always gonna be a huge wrestling fan now. I'm always gonna talk wrestling on here when I get a chance. If you give me a chance to talk about it, we gonna talk about it. Let me check. I don't see any of his. Well, see, look. That is a steel chair wrapped around with barbed wire. My dog was on. You having a match with Sabu, you're not coming out in one piece, bruh. You gonna be missing some pieces. Like, this guy was, no, this dude didn't give a fuck. Like, he did not care. Sabu, look at that barbed wire around his arm. The dude knew what he was doing. I'm trying to find. Let me see. I don't think I. But Sabu has so many good stories, like so many stories about this dude, man. Let me see. Barbed wire. Let me see if I can find that photo for y'all. This right here. So this was, I forgot what year it was. I don't think I was old enough to remember this match, because ECW, I don't know what channel ECW came on, but it was him, Terry Funk. And you know how, like, the wrestling ropes, how, like, hold on, like, you see how they got the wrestling ropes around the ring like this? Him and Terry Funk decided, fuck that. We want to put barbed wire around that. That match, I watched it from start to finish, and all I can do was just, oh, damn, he really did that. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. That's all I can say. The match was amazing. A match was amazing, but at the same time, saying that out loud kind of makes me sound like a psychopath. But anywho, R.I.P. to Sabu, man. Sabu was that guy, man. Sabu was that guy. At the end of the day, like I said, look at like ECW was on some wild stuff. You know, Terry Funk was trying to brand Mick Foley, bro. Like, and yet if I was in that crowd, I'd be like, yeah, do it again, burn that fool. Hey, I paid good money to see this, so we gonna watch it. So, but other than that, man, like I said, man, rest in peace to Sabu. You know, 60 years old. So, but today we is going to be playing some Doom. Hold on. We're gonna be playing some Doom. Yeah, I got Doom early, so I'm happy about that. Don't ask how I got it early. Like, I can't give up secrets because that certain person is gonna have a knife to my throat if I spill beans. But I got lucky, honestly, y'all. I just got lucky. I got real lucky. So let's go ahead and jump into this Doom Dark Ages. I've been waiting for this game to come out. Now, I heard that there is no multiplayer. Oh, y'all, would you like to update your graphics driver? Yeah, go ahead. So we gotta wait a bit, y'all. We gotta wait a bit. Hold on. Yeah, I just got real lucky. Hold on, let's make me do some extra stuff. So besides all that, though, how's life treating y'all before we get into anything else? And a lot of stuff has been going on. Yeah, I forgot I gotta update my stuff. So I did see that some people were upset with the way how much Doom takes up space on their computers, though. I was all like, man. Well, on their PCs, I'm sorry. Like, I can understand why they feel the way they feel. I'm like, dang, it's taking up that much? Yes. Okay. But other than that, are y'all ready for the summertime? That's the next question. Hold on. It's too quiet. Hold on. It's too quiet. Hold on. So y'all can hear me talk. Even though I'm rocking with the heavy metal. I will say that, you know, I'm not gonna be like most of the other guys that talking about saying not gonna get the game because of a certain composer, and I'm like, I get it. I'm not gonna argue with the guys and set up an ad like that. Oh, get over it. No. Like, nah. If that's how y'all feel, y'all don't want to support the game because of the fact that how they did a certain artist, a certain worker. That's fine. But I was gonna give Doom a chance because I wasn't a real big fan of Eternal, but this ain't Eternal. This technically is a prequel. But while we wait, we can go look at other stuff while we wait. Oh man, this is gonna take a minute. I should have done this while I was asleep, but didn't even think about it. Let's go see what people say about this Doom game while we're at it. So we're gonna check out some